click recording here. So here we go. So what is I want to ask, and I want to make this an open table here. What is everyone's, I guess, thoughts on video content? What is everyone's reservations? Feel free to open up your mic and share, or drop a comment in the chat. Savania, I'm putting you on the hot seat.
I know, I am a video shy person.
Video shy person? Okay, is it because you're nervous of what to say, or?
Yeah, sometimes I'm nervous about what I'm gonna say, sometimes because of my accent, and
Yeah.
I just
Yeah, of
don't
course.
feel confident, but I do have to make videos because everybody's making videos now, so
Yeah. Yeah,
I have to.
100%, 100%. Yeah, so what about Ali, Justin? Have you guys incorporated video content into your marketing strategy?
I have to a certain point. We've been part of the listings lab for a year.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, you know all about it.
Yeah, we know all about it. It's just, I think the initial, where I am now is that when I was initially doing the videos
Mm-hmm.
and how I'd want them to be now seems so different. And I have
Gotcha.
really great ideas. It's just the ideas are great. It's just the actual doing them in the application process to do them, right? Like
Yeah, 100%. So, and probably the time required, right?
yeah, we do when we have listings come up, we always do like a little different intro, not like your typical ones. Actually, there's more and more people in my marketplace that are doing ones that are very similar to the ones that I've been doing for over a year.
Yep.
Because we usually just do that as real. So that's completely just for social.
Yep.
Where it's not so much, it's not a hi, I'm Allie. I have this, it's more about where the location is.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's go take a look kind of idea, because you can put all the information in the description, right? So it's really about talking, it's to get them excited about where the location is. So it's
Yeah.
talking to people
Yeah,
as
100%,
opposed
100%.
to, what you can read what the listing is going to be about.
Exactly, exactly. And so I'm glad you commented on that, Ali. So so big reservation for Sylvania is just getting nervous on shooting, what content to shoot, how to produce it. And then Ali, it's more of like a time and quality um and more of like essentially what to post and how to bring in, like how to attract clients through that. Correct?
Yep.
Okay, awesome, guys. All right, so I'm going to start broad and then kind of hone in on some of this, because I have a little bit about me. So I've been a YouTube junkie for years. I started producing content close to 10 years ago. Done everything from like event promotions, real estate, consulting. So I have a fair bit of experience in shooting video content, both short form and long form. And there's a lot of different nuances on the strategy, what to produce, how to showcase it and whatnot. And we're going to dive into that here today. Okay. So the one thing I really want to emphasize, guys, so right now, like anyone that's done like any sort of online lead generation, they're probably seeing this, right? The trust factor is really low. We've hit a really low what I'm calling a trust recession. So any leads that do come in online, it's getting harder and harder to convert them, right? And that is why like the whole like everything, whether it's online, offline, it's shifting more towards video marketing, and this is going to be the future of business. And if you don't have video in your marketing strategy right now, it is like absolutely essential to start working this in, for a multitude of different reasons, right? Because you're building a compounding asset. The more videos that you create, the algorithms tend to push it more and more, and you start bringing in more and more people. You're educating and nurturing your database, your sphere of influence, and pulling people in, right? But what's really important is it is more of a long-term strategy, right? Whereas like if you're doing stuff like organic prospecting, like door knocking, open houses and stuff like that, you're kind of dealing with more like now business. Whereas a lot of the time with video content, it's more of a long-term play, right? But you're really doing this to build a brand. So you don't have to do the hard work of the, you know, the traditional means of prospecting real estate for the long term. You want to start building these things that are working for you, right? And we're as we kind of build this out, we'll start going more into systems and processes. But building video content and building your prospecting strategy around video content, that is how you build a business that starts working for you. Because especially like when you start getting into long form content like YouTube, all of these pieces, they compound and they're evergreen, which means that they're out there acting as a prospecting tool for you. And you want to have those working for you because essentially your business acts as like a seesaw, right? Either you're prospecting or you're working with clients. And a lot of the times where I see a lot of agents start hitting a bit of a wall or they're dealing with a lot of ebbs and flows is either they're spending time prospecting when they don't have many clients on the go, or they're working with clients trying to get deals across the line and then the prospecting falls off, right? So video content is one of the strategies that we can use to stop dealing with the huge ebbs and flows and then have something that's essentially prospecting for you. But again, it is a long-term strategy and you might not see results for 6 to 12 months, right? But every single agent that I've worked with has always said the same thing, that they're worried about, you know, getting in front of the camera and really just like being nervous on what to say. And it's very, very warranted, right? But if you think about it like this, no one is born good like driving a car, right? Like you're gonna have to get behind the wheel and spend some time on the road. But as you might hit a couple speed bumps and strike a couple curbs along the way, but as you keep doing it, it starts to become second nature. And it's the exact same with video content, right? Like your first video is going to suck, but your second video is going to be better than your first, and then your 10th video is going to be better than your second, and then it's just vice versa, right? If you saw some of my videos from way back in the day, you would probably piss your pants laughing. It's pretty terrible. But like again, like I've done enough reps now, both on like our coaching calls on video, that like it's become second nature for me, and I can just whip up the camera if I have an idea and just start talking to the camera. But I worked up to that, and that's a really, really important piece to know. And it's like anything, right? The more reps you get, the more experience you get, and it eventually just becomes second nature. Okay. So in terms of how to succeed with organic video content, it's really just a consistency play, right? Like if you start your organic content journey through video, for long form, you want to do anywhere from one video a week at the minimum. If you can get up to 3, it's a lot of work, but the YouTube algorithm will start it'll start rewarding you at a lot, and you'll start compounding a lot quicker. And for short form, you essentially want to do 3 weekly at the bare minimum. If you can get up to once daily, again, these short form platforms like Reels, TikTok, Shorts, they're going to reward you for the more of the volume that you come out. And like there's always the controversy between like quantity versus quality. In the beginning, in your early stages, where you're really just trying to build out your audience and build out your follower base, it's all about volume, right? The more that you get out, the more TikTok and Reels will keep pushing your content out there. And then as you start building that up and you want to get more people across the line and start signing them on as clients, that's where more of the quality play comes in. Okay. But volume of action will be your key differentiator. Okay. And that is truly what's going to separate yourself from others. And then you also want to get into the habit, right? And like, if you think of your content as prospecting, just like you would door knocking, just like you would like calling prospects, because it is your highest leverage form of prospecting. If you schedule either like 1 or 2 select days in the week or in the month just to batch out a bunch of content. That's going to be what allows you to keep that consistency up. And over time, as you get more comfortable with it, you're going to start getting better at it. You're going to be able to batch it and shoot more pieces of content in less time. And it starts to have, again, that compounding effect. And everything that we do here in Agent School, in the Agent Initiative, it's all geared towards it, like systemizing our business, having our business work for us. So we're essentially we don't deal with those ebbs and flows, right? And then again, you want to learn from your own content. You want to take some time, review some analytics, see which content gets better engagement, because it varies across a bunch of different markets, right? And you also want to spend some time responding to all of your followers, because again, like any engagement that you do with your audience, your followers, that the algorithms actually help you push your content further. Okay. So in terms of the short form and long form content, I want to go through like the differences and the nuances between both, and how they're going to affect your marketing strategy. Okay. The first, right, short form is like your TikToks, your Reels, your Shorts. This is anywhere from 60 to 90 seconds. And these have a really, really good reach, right? They're like, especially as you start compounding the volume, you're going to be able to get in front of more people a lot quicker, right? But since you're creating content in such a shorter time frame, the information is more broad and limited, right? Whereas with long form content, and this is why I'm such a huge advocate for long form content, it does take a little bit more work. You have to be more knowledgeable on whatever topic you're creating a video on, because you're spending more time in that video. It has less of organic reach in the beginning, but this is where you really start developing and positioning yourself as an authority agent, because you're going more in depth. It allows for time for you to elaborate on any specific subject on the content, and really develop a relationship with your viewers. And then the most important factor here, everybody, is that it's evergreen, right? So whereas like if you post a TikTok or a Reel, it's like it's gone within 48 or 78 hours, right? And then it disappears off of the platform, and then you have to keep kind of producing that. Whereas if you spend more time putting out a piece of YouTube content, it goes out there, it's acting as a prospecting tool for you and acting as your 24/7 salesperson. And that, again, once you start developing a stack of YouTube content, right, you have a mechanism that you're not even paying money for, that is bringing you in buyers and sellers and appointments. Like we have some videos that we created 6 months, 12 months ago that are bringing in prospects, like 2, 3, 4 appointments every single week, just through that video alone. Okay. Any questions so far, guys? I want to open up the floor for conversations. Yes, Ali, I will definitely send this document to us, and it will be available in the Agent School platform. Justin, can you elaborate on your question? Is though YouTube? Oh, Justin, you're muted.
Sorry about that.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering at what platform you were talking about. If this was Facebook or so you did answer my question right away. So anyway, yeah, it is YouTube. I don't know. I'm doing Sizzle City RE is what I just did. So that's what I'm going to start putting my video content on in YouTube.
Gotcha. And sorry, what's Sizzle City?
Well, it's Phoenix. Anyway, it wasn't taken. I've looked around and there's nothing. Nobody took Sizzle City. So, it's going to be tips, trends, and tips, tricks, and trends of the real estate market here in Phoenix. So that's what I'm going to kind of start putting some content together on.
Perfect. Okay, yeah. And now we're going to go into like in a second, we're going to go into the content that generates clients. So Ali, Sylvania, any questions so far?
No questions yet.
Okay, perfect. All righty. So yeah, like again, I want to go back into like the purpose of brand, right? Because it's the brand that's really going to separate ourselves from like us and the other agents in our market, right? And where we're coming into a situation in the real estate industry where competition is the highest that it's ever been. We really have to separate ourselves and be an agent of value, of substance, right? Because clients resonate with that, clients appreciate that, and we also have to put like a person behind. Like we don't want to be 100% real estate. Like we still want to showcase our, like our personal side, right? And the content that we'll go into this in a second, but the content that we find does really, really well, especially from a relationship development standpoint and with a like pulling in our sphere is content around like food, family, fitness, like memes, like to have people laugh. And then motivation is another really, really good one as well. So some questions that you should ask yourself before, establishing like your brand. You want to identify like what areas are you good at? Okay, like what neighborhoods do you service? What niche do you service? Like what are some things that you are good at that are inclusive in real estate and exclusive, right? What inspires you, right? Like, is it fitness? Is it cars? Is it sales? Is it helping clients, right? Like, what are your passions? Like, what separates yourself as an agent, but what also separates yourself as a person, right? Also, what is the unique selling points of your real estate services? Like we work with a lot of different agents that have different USPs or value props that they use to differentiate themselves in the market. And these are different like incentives, different different services, everything along those lines. And then how do you want to be perceived by your target audience? Do you want to be a luxury agent? Do you want to be focusing on first-time buyers, right? What is going to separate yourself from the other agents? Okay. Now, in terms of content that generates clients, like there's a lot of different approaches that you can take with this. But initially, what we found works really, really best, right, is especially like in long form content, is making content around neighborhoods and your city, right? Because as real estate agents, we want to be an expert in real estate, right? But we also want to be experts of the market that we're serving, right? So some pieces of content that do very, very well, right? And what you can do is take these ideas, you can plop them into ChatGPT and have them spit out a bit of a framework for your video content. And then kind of use that as a starting point to start scripting it out. But a couple of examples, right, is like pros and cons of moving to whatever city. I'm in Calgary, so pros and cons of moving to Calgary. What $500,000 gets you in Calgary? With our market appreciating, it's not that much anymore. And one that does really, really well is the top 5 reasons not to move to your city. And then doing like community tours, restaurant tours, property tours are still doing generally pretty well. However, they are like almost every single real estate agent is doing property tours now, so it is getting a little bit saturated. We are leaning more into the community tours ourselves as a team. And then in terms of the types of videos that attract clients, and these are people that are already following you, already in your sphere. Signaling posts have been doing really, really well for us. And essentially what a signaling post is a post that is relevant to your market in its current state, with any signals of like something like interest rates, immigration, migration that is going to affect the market, and why it makes sense for like a specific buyer or a specific seller in a niche, how that market is going to affect their strategy of whether it makes sense to buy now, buy later, sell now, or sell later, right? So as an example, I created one a couple of days ago, which was kind of around the lines of investors and how we are seeing so much immigration and migration into Calgary, and why it makes more sense for an investor looking to get into the market to purchase right away, so they can kind of see the appreciation in the next 6 to 12 months. Right. Whereas they're suffering a little bit of the cash flow because of how inflated our prices are. Okay. relocation videos. So this is like the ones I mentioned previously, like top reasons to move to your city, top reasons not to move to your city, what the price point gets, communities, anyone that isn't local to your market that is looking to relocate, that just needs some support on what to pick, what price point, what area. Those will do really, really well for anyone moving out of province or out of state into your market. Property tours do really well, and market updates are a really, really good one as well. We know people that their whole marketing strategy is around market updates and how it pertains to each single product in their market. So how it pertains to single family detached, how it pertains to like townhouses and condos and all that stuff. Okay. Yeah, types of videos that get seller leads. So these are essentially like, when is the best time to buy or sell in your city? And again, you want to make this pertinent to specific niches. And this is your upsizers, your downsizers, empty nesters, how to prepare your home for your sales. So going through the strategies of like staging, doing a CMA, and essentially doing like a seller's guide step by step, and providing that education for anyone looking to list their property. And then content that creates engagement. So these are more of like the behind the scenes videos. And this is, again, kind of going back to like the personal side, right? People are attracted to people that like people want to. There's a common adage that people say that, you know, people hate being sold to, but they love shopping with their friends. And you want to showcase that human element that is exclusive of your real estate role or your sales role, right? And this is where the behind the scenes stuff, like your family, like your food, your pets, your fitness, motivation, and means and stuff, that is what's going to develop that relationship on a personal level, to have people that are more comfortable for you in more of like a business related role. Okay. So for us, like what I do specifically, I will do my signaling posts, you know, 2, 3, 4 times a week. And then every single day on my story, if you're not following me yet, you'll probably see, like, definitely shoot me a follow on Instagram, and, you know, you can kind of see what our strategy is. But I'm always posting, you know, me in the gym, me out with friends and family, like the different food that I'm eating. Because again, people connect with that on a personal level, and that's what we want to do to kind of get people comfortable to start having conversations regarding real estate. Okay. And again, the biggest thing as it pertains to real estate, or sorry, for video content, is just starting with the action, right? Because you're not going to get better if you don't take that first step, and if you don't get uncomfortable in front of the camera. But I promise everyone on this call that the minute that you get that first video done, you're going to feel really, really accomplished. And as you start getting more and more comfortable with it, it's going to start becoming second nature. You're going to be able to fire them off quicker. And then eventually you'll get into the point, just like me, where I have a thought in my head, I can turn my phone on and just start talking to the camera. Okay. But like I mentioned, guys, it's really, really critical. If you haven't adopted video content into your marketing strategy yet, yeah, definitely consider it moving forward. And we will, yeah, we're gonna keep doing trainings on this, and shoot me a follow so you can kind of see how our marketing strategy works as it pertains to video content. Ali, thanks for hopping in. Justin, Sylvania, I'm going to leave the door open for questions here for the next 5 minutes, and yeah, then we'll wrap things up for the day. Justin, we'll start with you.
Cool. Yeah, I do have a couple questions. So, I've been told that, you know, the raw content now is just as good as going and, you know, editing and doing that. Is that true, or is that false?
100%. Yeah. So my mentor, Sean Getty, you can look him up. He literally built his $1 million real estate business of him just sitting in the car and talking to his camera. No captioning, no formal editing, right? Just completely organic, authentic. and unpolished essentially, right? So, and I've kind of adopted the same, the same element. Like you'll see on my feeds, like there are some pieces of content that are professionally edited. There are some that, like I mentioned, I just take the phone, start talking to it. I run over my words sometimes, but like they both do generally really, really well. And I've, even through the organic pieces of content, I've had people reach out to me and say, okay, this, like, I love the fact of how authentic you are. And then, we kind of start the conversation towards, like real estate or investing or whatever that is. So to answer your question, yes, the more authentic that you make it, the more people will be generally attracted to it. I find that, like, if you're pushing to bring in new people, the professionally edited ones typically do pretty, like, a lot better, because people don't, like, they don't know you as of yet. So having that polished look generally looks pretty good to them. But again, like the key thing here is, guys, is especially as you're building a brand, you want to, like, the more content that you can just get of people, or the more content that you can just get in front of people, so they can just see your personality, see, that we're not sleazy salesmen, like we are actually trying to help support them in their transition. That's what's ultimately going to develop the relationship, right? But I see a lot of people get stumped where they're worried about it being perfect, and then that strive for perfection ultimately ends up with them not shooting any content, right? But if people, my mentor included, and with us, the way that we're building it, if $1 million businesses can be built on an iPhone, just looking at the iPhone and talking to it, you don't have to have analysis paralysis in trying to make it perfect, right? Like, you can work up towards it, but the key thing is just getting in front of the camera, researching your topics and understanding it thoroughly enough so you can have the conversations. And what's really, really cool here, guys, is, like, as you're writing out scripts for content, and I'm going to send this list after, but if you research everything in depth, right, it's going to have a compounding effect, because if you research it, if you write it out in the form of a blog, you're going to internalize it and understand it. And then as you start having more and more conversations with buyers and sellers, you're going to be able to guide the conversation based on all of the knowledge that you internalize from the blog that you wrote, from the piece of the content that you produced, right? So it's like, I love ChatGPT. I think is really, really cool. And it's a really good starting point to kind of have to start writing scripts, but just use it as a starting point, right? Because I can see it all the time with not just real estate agents, but like content creators in general, where a whole script was written from ChatGPT, and the content producer, like, they stumble over their words, or it's really cut. Whereas, like, the person or the creators that are really, really well informed on the subject, they can typically just turn their camera on and start talking on that specific subject. And you can only do that by doing the work and doing the research and understanding the specifics of that particular subject, right? So that's my biggest thing. So to kind of bring this back full circle, guys, don't get caught up on the sentiment of it being perfect, because people like authentic. And if you're making mistakes on your videos, that is completely okay. And actually, like, I have more people that are attracted to that than that reach out and just say that my videos are SHIT, right? The big thing is imperfect action will always serve you better than perfect inaction. Make sense?
Yep, for sure, for sure. Hey, what's your Instagram handle?
Just Mason Stepaniak.
Okay. I have one more question, and then I'll let everybody else have a chance. So, so it took me a while to come up with that name, Sizzle City, and I did use Chat GPT to help me out with that. But I looked around to make sure nobody else was using that. My buddy was like, "You should do something fun, like, I look like Ross Real Estate, or something fun. Do something that, I don't know. I mean, Justin Tiffany. I was going to do Tiffany Real Estate Group or whatever. But can you touch on when you're starting out a YouTube channel, are you using just your name? Are you using like a location? What are you using primarily when you start doing something like that?
Yeah, great question. So, back to my comment on like we want to create content around real estate, but we don't want real estate to be our whole brand and our whole person. So for me, like my long-term vision is to build like Agent School and the Agent Initiative into the best real estate coaching and training platform. Like it's not specific to real estate, right? Like I'm building a brand around Mason Stepaniak. So for me, and what I've seen work best, like I don't know if you're familiar with Mike Sherrard, but Mike Sherrard's his whole thing was around real estate, but he built it around his personal brand. And it's the personal brands that people ultimately resonate with. So I lean on the side of doing it specific to your name, because it's the person, the personal stuff that people are ultimately going to be attracted to.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, perfect. Any other
Thank you.
questions there, Justin?
No, that's good for me. I'll let everybody else have a chance. Thanks.
All right, Sylvania, I'll leave it open to you, and then we'll wrap up the call.
You answered my question already about
Yeah, definitely give CapCut a shot. They do have a free version, and then I think the pro version's like $12. It's super affordable. And I do all of my my short form editing on CapCut.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Awesome, guys. Yeah, thanks for hopping in, and we will see you on the call at the same time tomorrow. Have a great one, everyone, and happy selling.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank